Hey, spoiler warning. This episode of Critical Role finished with the most frustrating cliffhanger for me personally. So many questions that I've wanted answered over the last 10 episodes are behind this one door, and it feels like they just stopped outside it and did not go in. Okay, let's do the recap. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, no, it's Critical Role. Yeah. Last time we saw the party facing off against this big chompy plant thing. This plant creature, clearly fey in nature, had lured them in with some kind of anglerfish technology. And instead of the anglerfish's little glowy light thing, this thing had a fairy, and this fairy beguiled the party and lured them into combat. So that's how we start. Fight. We don't do a turn-by-turn recap around here, but here are the highlights. Imogen in this fight uses one of her new items, which is that shard from the Feywild that can only be attuned to by sorcerers. And what this does is whenever she spends a mana magic point, she gets to use wild magic. And Laura's character's skin turns blue. Oh, have there been any other blue characters played by Laura? Who could this be? This plant looks just like the Little Shop of Horrors plant. You know, feed me Seymour, that one. So it manages to swallow Ashton and does like 51 points of damage before he can escape. It swallows Lordna, drops her down to 0. Oh my goodness. She manages to roll high enough on a death save to pop back up, and she claws her way out. The party are getting roughed up, and when Freshcut Grass sees his mates getting destroyed, he looks around and goes, oh no, it's happening again, because his last party got massacred by a monster. But in the end, it is Freshcut Grass that gets the kill on this creature. He does it with his little saw arm thing, and he just chops it up. And he gets the how do you do this? After that battle, the party finish their long rest and they get back on the road. They roll a couple of other random encounters. So Chetney finds some fungus, some weird mushroom stuff growing, and he touches it, he pokes it, and it sprays spores in his face, does a bit of poison damage, and he ends up being drunk for a little while as he kind of trips. But what I was interested in was the fact that Imogen found some ruins, some ancient ruins that Aurum rolled a history check on. He rolled this history check and learned that they are elvish in nature. And from the positioning of this building, it doesn't look like it collapsed here. It looks like it crashed here. Now this makes me think it's probably something from Aor, or that similar civilization where they had flying cities. This is some old magic. Matt specifies that this stonework is from pre-Calamity. Elsewhere on the road, the party finds another adventuring party. I wonder, what's an adventuring party doing out here? So the makeup of this party is as follows. I am going to look at my notes. There is a dragonborn lady named Hutchin. There is a male cat person who looks like an Egyptian cat. There is a female human using a hunting knife to skin what looks like to be a panther or some kind of big hunting cat. There is a male goblin with red eyes, and there is a female furbolg. When they're talking to this other party, Freshcut Grass does the clever thing of using read thoughts or detect thoughts on this party. And it has a semantic, which is a movement, and it has a verbal, which is a vocal sound, and it has a material component, which is like some copper. So this party sees Freshcut Grass go like, I'm casting a spell on you. And of course they're distrustful of this whole thing. They see him cast the read thought spell, the detect thought spell, on them. So this other adventuring party is rightly put off a little bit by our mates, the Bell's Hells. Fern does a bit of a barter with this other party while everybody's projecting thoughts into her head saying, do not rob these people. Do not steal anything. But Fern trades with them and gets kind of like a charm bracelet, which is nice. Now, when this other party are asked, hey, where are you headed? They say, we're heading the same way you are. So Bell's Hells offered to travel together, but the other party declines, and they're going to make separate ways in the end. But Aurum manages to roll an insight check on these people. Oh, and Aurum rolls very high and gets a pretty long whisper. And I have no indication of what this whisper is about. The party, Bell's Hells, is very suspicious of this other group, suspecting that they may be the rival burglar party, because they are traveling to the Heartmoor to try and steal something. And do you know what? I will explain that in a second. So the two parties diverge, which means Bell's Hells have kind of overtaken this other party on their journey towards the Heartmoor Hamlet. Bell's Hells take their horses to the stable. All the horses survived this journey. I haven't mentioned this before, but they bought like 4 or 5 horses, and they're all still kicking. And that's what horses do, they kick. They're all still alive. That's incredible for an adventuring party. Good job. So now, the party go procure rooms for themselves at the Sodden Grange Inn, where the innkeeper is this halfling with a big bushy beard. I used to have a big bushy beard. I used to have hair too, but that's not what this recap is about. At this point, I'm just going to remind you why the party is here in the Heartmoor Hamlet. They're here for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, which is the main reason, is that they're here for a competition. 2 parties have been hired to burgle the same museum. So there is this eccentric lord named Lord Avon, and he thinks that his security is so tight he can't possibly be robbed. So 2 different noble ladies have taken this guy, Lord Avon, up on this bet and said, no, I'm going to sponsor an adventuring party to steal a specific item that you choose. So that's why the party is here. They are one of these parties and they're working for Lady Hexam, but there is another party out there somewhere, another party of burglars that they're going to be competing against. And that party that they met on the road, I'm suspecting they are those burglars. The second reason the party's in the Heartmoor Hamlet, this is the cliffhanger that I was talking about, that I was so frustrated about right at the beginning. It is to meet Estanni. Now, this character is relevant both to Auram's storyline, because it's tied to Ashard Brechio and the mysterious attacks on the Aerashari, and it's also relevant to Imogen's storyline, because you recall that Imogen rented out of the book that had information about her psychic storm dream stuff and had a list of names there, including the name of her mother, but some pages were missing. Now, this book, the previous person that had rented out this book from the academy, the library, the school, was the Loomis twins. So the assumption is that the Loomis twins must have been the people to tear the pages out of this book. But in an earlier episode, when the party investigated the Loomis twins' leftover materials, their possessions, because they were killed, they weren't there. Therefore, the person that was there at the Loomis twins' death when they were killed by shadowy creatures in the Heartmoor was this Estanni person, their family friend. But for now, the party's going to go to the museum and see Lord Avon. Now, this estate, this area, this building does not match the rest of this village, because it's very much a small, swampy, hamlety village. This place looks like a mini castle, but it's kind of tacky and out of place, like a mini golf place, right? So the party rocks up, Ashton rings the bell, and eventually a couple of guards come out and they look kind of unprepared, like they don't usually have visitors, and this very ostentatious, flamboyant lord comes out, bejeweled, lots of jewels in this person, a sweeping cape, a very regal facial hair configuration. This is Lord Avon. Ashton tells Lord Avon that, hey, we're the people that are here to rob you as part of this competition. And Lord Avon is delighted. He is delighted by this. We learn a bit of information. Lord Avon says that the other party has not arrived yet, so we're going to have to wait for them to rock up before we can start the competition. We also learn that they're going to have to go into the museum to steal this blind. They don't get a tour, they don't get to know the layout or anything like that. It's just going to be play it where it lies, my friend. And thirdly, Lord Avon gives a little bit of advice, and this is actually kind of scary. Lord Avon says, when you're undertaking this task, tread carefully and be careful, and if something scares you, run. My suspicion is that we're about to get into a fun house dungeon of lethal traps, and it is going to be unfair. And after this, the party goes to meet Estanni. This is a half-orc, half-elf synthesis. I can't remember the name of Matt's homebrew race here, but this is a person that was good friends, family friends with the Loomis twins, was there at the time of their death, will probably have more information on those terrifying assassins that fought the Aerashari. This is the single vector of multiple plot lines, and we just need to unpick this thread for the whole mystery to unravel. So the party rocks up to this place, and Auram says, we're here on behalf of Ashard Brechio. Estanni lets the party in. They see books stacked high in this place. This is a person of knowledge, but they are not going to share it, because that's where the episode ends. Cliffhanger ahoy. Everybody, thank you so much for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, click subscribe. click like, click the keys on the keyboard that leave comments and say, oh, I like this one. No, I'm going to recommend it to my friends. That was me doing your voice. I'm sorry. Hey, all these people down here are my patrons. Thank you so much for the support, patrons. I could not make this kind of content. I could not have this channel at all without your support. Thank you. Check out one of these videos up here. Oh, one of these could be good. Oh, click on one of these.